Good afternoon, everyone. The regular meeting of the Gary Redevelopment Commission is now called to order. Roll call.
Mr. Clemens?
Here.
Ms. Chambers? Here. Mr. Stalling?
Present.
Councilman Washington?
Present.
And President Rogie.
I'm here. Okay. The acceptance of the meeting agenda for August 7th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second? Second? Okay, move to second and roll call.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Chambers? Yes. Mr. Stalling?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. President, let me just make a brief announcement for the commission members who are using the microphones. What you have to understand is that keep your microphone off with the exception of the president because he's always doing business. But if you have more than 3 microphones on, you're not going to be able to articulate. So when you make your statement, make sure you cut it right back off again. If anybody goes up to that podium, cut that green button on, but we got to make sure it's only 3 operating at the same time. This happens at our council meetings.
Okay, thank you. Certification of record of the executive session held before this meeting. I hereby certify that nothing has been discussed in the executive session held immediately before this open meeting except those items specified and listed in the notice. And what's the pleasure of the board? In other words,
I move for certification of record of the executive session held on August 7, 2024.
moved in second and roll call.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers? Yes. Mr. Stalling?
Yes.
Councilman Washington? Yes. And President Rogie.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. Acceptance of the minutes from the meeting held on July 24th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Moved in second and roll call.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Chambers? Ms. Chambers, rather. Mr. Stalling?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. And now, public comment on the agenda items only. Anyone want to make a comment? I'll go right ahead.
All right. I think I'm the only green on. All right. Good afternoon. My name is Janie Marcinkowski, and I am here to discuss resolution number 7502 in regards to Comer Capital Group. So this was brought up in the previous meeting, so I did a little bit of, shall we say, legwork and research on this company. And, shall I say, a little vetting. And I don't know if anyone else has, but it is not good. This Comer Capital Group, LLC, and Brandon L. Comer have had very, shall we say, criminal charges, breaching fiduciary duty, and I am a little bit shocked that we would do business with a company like this. So I just am making people be aware. You can Google it, you can find it. It's pretty simple because I think this has to stop. First, we had, what was it, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, the Palace Theater with a very questionable developer. And I'm not even going to digress into the Genesis Center, but the truth is that the people of Gary deserve better, much better. And we've got to get it right. We've got to vet and do a better job of who we let into Gary to move our dear city forward. I find this just frustrating. And the people of Gary deserve better, and we deserve it now. So I leave it at that. And my last comment is regarding this MKSK, regarding this designing and planning for some suite at the Railcats for entertaining, which I'm not sure this will make or break a business to entertain or do business in Gary, or to think about Gary if it's make or break. That's a lot of money. There's an increase of another $75,000. That's a lot of money when this city has other areas that dollars need to go to. And I think we have to really look hard at what we are doing and how we are doing it and be much more responsible. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Comment. Okay, I'm closing the comment session. Presentations. On the agenda items only. What's the presentation? No presentations. Well, there being none, then request for approval of resolution number 7502, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services contract with Comer Capital Group, LLC, for financial advisory services not to exceed $70,000. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogi. I am asking the Commission table Resolution 7502.
Commissioners, it's up to you what you would like to do.
I second the motion.
Okay, moved in second. Table doesn't need discussion, and roll call.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers? Yes. Mr. Stalling?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogi.
Yes.
The motion to table passes.
Okay. Okay, a request for approval of resolution number 7503, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing the commission of a professional services contract with MKSK Studios for the planning and design services for the new amount of $125,000, an increase of $75,000. Director Harris, please explain.
Okay. Thank you, President Rogi. Resolution 7503 is a resolution for the Department of Redevelopment approving and authorizing the execution of a professional service contract with MKSK Studios for planning and design services for the amount of $125,000, an increase of $75,000. Due to a mistake from our previous commission meeting, the prior approval resolution was approved not to exceed $50,000. The total scope for contract and design services for adaptive reuse of the Hudson Campbell Fitness Center actually totals to amount of $125,000. So I am asking for the commission's approval for us to enter into contract negotiations to increase MKSK's contract from $50,000 to $125,000.
Board members?
I move for the passage of Resolution 7503.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Calling for a second. I will bring it to the floor by calling for the second. I'll do the second. Okay. All right, moved and seconded, and is there discussion? There is no discussion, therefore roll call.
Mr. Clements. Ms. Chambers. Mr. Stalling.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Abstention.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
With a vote of 3 yes and 2 abstentions, the motion passes.
Thank you. Request for approval of resolution number 7504, a resolution approving and authorizing the extension of a professional services contract with Republic Services doing business as Allied Waste. The termination date will change from August 5th, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogie. Resolution 7504 is a resolution approving and authorizing the extension of a professional services contract with Republic Services doing business as Allied Waste. For the termination date will change from August 5th, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. There will be no changes to the compensation of the above contract. Only the termination date will change from August 5th, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
Okay. What would the board like to do with this one?
I move for the passage of resolution number 7504.
Been moved in second. And discussion? Did you want to say there was no money involved here?
Sure, yes. So again, this is just purely administrative because the contract expired August 5th, 2024. Again, this is just an effort to be able to just extend the contract date to December 31st, 2024. The commission has already passed the resolution for the amount of services provided by Republic Services. Understanding for the public's sake, what this contract is for is that when we demolish structures in-house, we need to dispose of them to a waste site, a waste company. So what this effort is that we need to extend the contractual date, an effort for us to be able to continue utilizing their services because technically their contract date expired August 5th, 2024. So we're just extending that post to December 31st, 2024 with the appropriations that we've already made as a commission in the past.
Okay. And board members?
Mr. Clements? Yes. Ms. Chambers? Yes. Mr. Stalling? Yes. Councilman Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
A request for approval of resolution number 7505, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission authorizing the execution of a professional services contract with Industrial Installations Solutions, Inc. for asbestos testing and removal. The term of the contract will begin on August 7th, 2024, and last 1 year until August 7th, 2025, to be paid in an amount not to exceed $100,000. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogie. Resolution 7505 is a resolution of the City of Gary Department of Redevelopment authorizing the execution of a professional service contract with Industrial Installation Solutions Incorporated for asbestos testing and removal. The term of the contract will begin August 7th, 2024, and the duration will be through August 7th, 2025, to be paid in the amount not to exceed $100,000.
Mr. Harris, would you like to expand on this, that we must do this with the EPA, or we don't tear anything down?
Correct. So thank you, President Rogi. So Industrial Installation Solutions Incorporated, before we demolish any structure, whether it be in-house or entities that we have demolish structures for us on our behalf, we have to have an inspection conducted prior to demolition. When that inspection is conducted, we receive a scope from Industrial Installation Solutions, understanding what the value of remediation is going to be for that particular site or structure. When we receive that proposal, we move forward to allow Industrial Installation Solutions to address and abate the hazardous material before a structure is demolished. And just as what President Rogi has shared, that if we don't have Industrial Solutions and their services for the city of Gary and the Department of Redevelopment, then we can't demolish any structure, because technically we have to abate the structure before the structure comes down. There are emergency structures that we are actively looking to demolish immediately that we've passed 2 commissions ago, particularly 3838 Broadway, where we definitely see the issue and the concern. I'm concerned about it every day when I drive by that structure, and that's a prioritized site that I've shared with our demolition coordinator that we need to address. So without having that ability to be able to move forward, structures like that, amongst others that we approve, we're not able to demolish.
Thank you. And commissioners?
I move for the passage of resolution number 7505.
And there's a second. So roll call.
Mr. Clemens? Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Mr. Stalling?
Yes.
Councilman Washington?
Yes.
President Rogi?
Yes.
And just a clarification, Mr. Clemens?
Extension.
Thank you. The motion passes.
Okay. Director's comments.
Thank you, President Rogi. So I am very excited to report our first charrette public engagement opportunity with the University of Notre Dame School of Architecture. Definitely, want to thank the commission an effort to allow this to be a reality. I can share, with everyone that we had roughly a little bit over 200 attendees in our first public engagement effort with Notre Dame School of Architecture. And again, what a charrette is for the public that doesn't understand what a charrette is. I mean, a charrette is generally a workshop. So not so much a formal public testimony, atmosphere and environment. It's a collaborative work table environment where you're working amongst your peers within the community to vision what we want for downtown. We want to be transparent in this process, is that downtown is important to our city, not only just from a economic development standpoint and from a tax-based standpoint of generating tax revenue for the city as a whole, because generally most downtowns provide the lion's share of revenue to help take care of basic services across the entire city. But the downtown is meant to be an epicenter for trading ideas, socializing amongst one another, having a positive event, eating good food, right? We want to be able to collect all of that input from the public that the University of Notre Dame, with their expertise when it comes to design, when it comes to understanding the built environment, to layer in what our priorities are as a community, so that when we develop downtown, when we redevelop downtown, we get it right. Moving forward, we have a charrette, another public engagement opportunity this Friday at 504 Broadway from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. I think last Monday we kind of went to 7:30, but I think it was very positive because we were able to have each table share takeaways from what they're table had compiled as far as their vision for downtown Gary. But we definitely welcome the public to participate. And next week, August 12th through the 16th, Notre Dame School of Architecture is going to be here all week. And in that effort all week, what the intention is that after they've gathered that public feedback, they're going to create word salads based on each of the questions that we've asked in the survey to the public to understand the main ethos of what the public wants. And that's going to be used as a layer to frame how we develop downtown Gary moving forward. And on Monday, August 12th, there will be a draft that the University of Notre Dame School of Architecture is going to share with the public about the plan that they've compiled together for downtown Gary thus far. And they want to get feedback from the public to understand, hey, we've had these public engagement opportunities on August 5th and August 9th. Are we headed in the right direction? Did we hear you correctly? They'll take that feedback from August 12th, and then on August 14th, there will be another mid-level draft, taking that feedback from the 12th and saying, hey, okay, we've tweaked it based on, the refinements we've gotten on the 12th. Are we still headed in the right direction? Is there more that we need to refine? Then on August 16th, again, 5:30, 504 Broadway, then we have the opportunity to have the final draft and have one last opportunity for the public to be able to see the more refined version of what that downtown plan will look like. And then that week after, then Notre Dame is going to take that feedback from August 16th and then develop the final plan that we can make public by the end of August. So understand that, this charrette opportunity is done in a kind of crash course style. Not only are they bringing in, their faculty and students, but they're bringing in world-renowned planners and architects here to our community to help us work day and night to be able to crunch in all this feedback and all of the data that they've gathered from our community and our local stakeholders to be able to create this plan and have it publicly available at the end of August. So understanding that when that plan is created, then we collectively have a roadmap as a community about how do we develop downtown in a meaningful way that respects our architectural identity and heritage. B, it gives us a roadmap when it comes to future zoning that we need to make amenable for the kind of development that we want to have that's equitable and that's accessible not only to our residents, but also for our entrepreneurs that want to grow with downtown Gary. And then 3, there's an opportunity that we're going to have housing templates for developers to build on lots that were originally platted here in the city when the city was originally founded. In the 1960s, we suburbanized our zoning code to lower the density of our city. But what we've done is we've also hurt ourselves financially because you don't get as much tax revenue per acre as you could if you had the density of how the city was originally developed. Having infrastructure costs money, right? It costs money to maintain. And if we had a density of, having 2 flats on a particular block, and the revenue that we've generated as a city at that time went in to maintain that infrastructure with having 2 flats on the entire block, and then over time, because of external factors, we've redlined a particular neighborhood of our city that really damaged the core, that we haven't been able to reinvest in that block of 2 flats. And what's happened is that we've had to demolish those 2 flats decade after decade to get to where we are today, where we have swaths of vacant lots in the core of our city. Now, when we updated our zoning code in the 1960s, then we required, hey, instead of having these 2 flats on this block that generated X amount of tax revenue for the city, now in effort to build one single family home, you need 2 parcels wide of land to build one single family home. So where you had 2 flats, where you may have had 15 2 flats on one block, now you may only have 6 single family homes on that block. That does not generate enough tax revenue to maintain the infrastructure that was originally built here in the city. So that's why having this holistic study is going to be important with the University of Notre Dame School of Architecture, because it's going to help us frame directionally where we need to go with zoning and offering templates for our small scale developers to rebuild our tax base in a meaningful way that's attainable, where you don't have to worry about finding an architect. You already will have a pre-approved plan that fits the character of our city, and then you can take that to a builder and move forward from there and executing your vision of developing in Gary, right? So we're going to be able to get 3 housing templates from the University of Notre Dame. We're going to have 2 traditional workforce housing templates from the University of Notre Dame School of Architecture. And traditional workforce housing means retail space at the bottom, living space up top, for one unit. We want to grow generational wealth for our residents because that's been taken away from us in so many levels throughout the decades of our city's history. So we want to be able to offer those templates back to our small scale developers so we can grow the wealth of our people and build a resilient Gary. So we're going to have that at the end of this effort with the Notre Dame School of Architecture. We're going to have those templates available. And then we're going to have 2 commercial construction templates, again, fitting on parcels that were originally developed here in the city that are 30 foot wide by 109 feet long, offering opportunities for entrepreneurs and small scale developers to help us rebuild the city in a way and a character that existed that helps support our tax base. So it's a very exciting time, for the city of Gary when it comes to the level of press and coverage. I think ourselves and our commission should be very pleased because we're garnering national attention, and this is just the beginning. We're very much so at a very critical time in the city's history that we can recalibrate how we move forward as a city in an equitable way. So we really encourage the public to, again, participate. We made it simple because we didn't want to confuse the public with having different times and different locations for this Notre Dame charrette. So we always keep it consistent here at 504 Broadway. Again, 5:30 to 7 o'clock this Friday, August 9th, and then August 12th, August 14th, and August 16th from 5:30 to 7 o'clock at 504 Broadway to be able to give feedback after we have the draft from Notre Dame to make sure we're headed in the right direction in the procurement of our final draft of our downtown plan. So again, very exciting time in the city. The interest in the city of Gary is very broad and it's very intense. There's some activity that's stronger than others, but we're working together to be able to look at each neighborhood and find catalytic opportunities to trigger growth and opportunity. But we have to rebuild our core, and we have to work in areas that are best aligned and that are the market is naturally wanting to develop, so we can help rebuild our tax base. But we haven't forgotten about Glen Park. Glen Park, we see you. There's opportunity that we see on the south side of our city that we're working with, and we're finding we'll be able to share soon with the public. But understand it's a very exciting time. We work around the clock an effort to make this effort a reality. I do want to touch on MKSK and what was passed before the commission today. So we really want to find opportunities in our downtown for adaptive reuse. So MKSK is an entity that is trusted, that's worked with us and worked with the Regional Development Authority across multiple communities in Northwest Indiana, developing their transit development districts, and also creating the initial vision for downtown Gary. That if you Google Gary Metro TDD or Gary Miller TDD, all of the graphics, all of the content pulled together to help frame where we are right now to our developer community, where we want to go. All of that's been developed by MKSK, contracted through the Regional Development Authority. So trust and understand that we have an entity that's very competent and able to help us with key structures here in our downtown to be able to seize opportunity that we may not be able to get in the next few months if we don't move forward how we needed to move forward today. So I definitely thank the commission for being able to move forward expeditiously, to not miss opportunities for downtown Gary for funding catalytic development. So I want to round out that. I know in the last commission meeting, I believe I talked a little bit about the Broadway Summit. So the mayor's vision and intention for the Broadway Summit is that we want to gather the public after we have the Notre Dame charrette at hand. I'm sorry, the actual downtown plan at hand, that we're going to be able to go and broadcast to the community. This is the plan. This is the direction that we're headed. We want our developer community to be involved. We want our contractor community to be involved. We want our constituents to be involved, those who want to plan events and activities in our downtown. It's going to be a conference engagement opportunity that people can learn that now that we have the direction and the roadmap of how we want to move forward in executing this plan, here's how you do it. So because we didn't want to confuse the public with all of the public engagement efforts we have for the Notre Dame charrette, the initial plan was to have that at the end of August. But because we want to make this a very big opportunity to promote it and get people excited, that the time period might shift into the fall. But just understand that having this Notre Dame downtown plan, as well as development templates for our small scale developers, is going to be critical for our public to be able to absorb that. And then we're going to be able to walk through that and then have that engagement and plan where you can plug in to downtown Gary moving forward. So again, just wanted to share the exciting updates that we have here, and leave it up to my commission for other comments.
And commissioners' comments? No. Okay. How about our school board?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to let everyone know that school starts a week from today, so next Wednesday. But before then, there's going to be a couple of back-to-school fairs. One is going to be Friday, this coming Friday. I believe it starts at 4 p.m. at Brown Skin Coffee, and I think it's outside in the lot area. And then the other is this coming Saturday from 8 to 1 p.m. at the Railcat Stadium, Back to School Fest. So this summer went by extremely fast, and school is starting back up. And so just want to get everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, you have any items for the next meeting?
I have no comments for the next meeting.
Okay. This could be a record time of a redevelopment commission meeting if you are ready to adjourn.
Motion for adjournment.
Okay. And there's a motion and a second for adjournment and roll call.
Mr. Clements?
Yes.
Ms. Chambers? Yes. Mr. Stalling?
Yeah.
Councilman Washington?
All right, what are we doing? We missed that.
Adjournment.
No. I got some comments.
Oh,
All right, thank you, Mr. President. We are getting ready to get into the budget season for the Gary Common Council. So I got a few requests for this commission. Number one, I'm gonna ask this for myself, but all commission members need to have this if you don't have it. I want our budget, our operation budget for this year, for the first, second, and third quarter, because we're getting ready to go into the last quarter. And I think commission members need to know the different accounts that we're spending money out of the Redevelopment Commission, and where we're actually at regarding our budget. So we can have that, because I know we're going to be looking at certain things, and we have money that's coming out of the Redevelopment Commission. Secondly, Mr. Clemens and myself, our President Ty Atkins, the mayor of the city, Christopher Harris, and a few other people had a meeting back in May. And in that meeting, there was concerns that were shared about the Redevelopment Commission and its operation. One of the concerns that I have as a commission member is that we have bylaws that have not been updated in years, and they need to be updated to ensure, and I'm not saying they're not, but many of our commission members don't actually have bylaws, and we need to make sure that those bylaws are updated and they coincide with the Indiana Code regarding the redevelopment commissions, so we can make sure as a commission that when we are voting on things and we are operating, that we are operating based on the Indiana Code. We had that meeting in May. I discussed this with Mr. President, and we need to have a meeting. We need to do something regarding getting these bylaws updated because they're not updated. And I say that to say this, and I say this with respect. I'm not going to keep voting for items on this agenda when the only time I've known that this information exists is during an executive session. The executive sessions are legitimate. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem when I have to vote on anything regarding spending taxpayers' money when I have been notified and have been given a presentation in an executive session. Yes, our agenda is given to us a few days before, but the commission members are not afforded the opportunity to ask questions and to be able to get answers so we can make educated votes when it comes to spending thousands of dollars of the residents' money. When there is someone who is interested in developing in this community, and we are asked to spend thousands of dollars on contracts, that contractor and this commission owes the respect for us to be brought in the loop, for us and the residents to be explained to what type of contracts that we're agreeing to, what kind of development. If anyone want to come, if they want to come and develop in Gary, we open that. We want to work with our mayor and see his vision for developing this community. But developers must come before the public, must come before this commission and explain to us what it is that they want to do. So every commissioner, before we vote, we will actually know what we're voting for and what we want to be in agreement in. I'm not a rubber stamp. I'm elected by the residents of this community. I want to work and I support this administration. But when you see me abstain or voting no on something, it is because I do not have an understanding, or I may not have gotten the information, or I just may not agree. And there are times that we can agree to disagree. But since I've been on this redevelopment commission, there has been a lack of communication between the office and the redevelopment commission when it comes to us spending certain dollars. And so I know executive sessions, I know the redevelopment code and what we're supposed to go by, and our bylaws need to do that, because I'm gonna tell you, I am not gonna vote for anything that is gonna put this city in harm's way of any lawsuits or anything. And I'm not saying this has happened up to now. What I'm saying is that we need to be clear as a board on everything that we're doing, because this board, the majority of this board, has to vote on whatever projects or whatever comes before us. It's not the mayor's office, it's not the council, it is the redevelopment board. So we need to make sure as a redevelopment commission that we are aware of the Indiana Code regarding our responsibilities. We need to make sure that we have updated bylaws, and we need to be able to discuss with the administration and when I say administration, I mean the redevelopment administration, if there are any concerns that we may have on any contracts before we vote on them. And if that means we have meetings now twice a month. In between a month, we have 30 days to have meetings that we need to have on demand so this board can be adequately up to date and aware of everything that we're getting ready to vote on. And there may be times we can agree or disagree, and that's fine. But I want to make sure that every one of these commission members, when we vote, we have been given all of the necessary information so we can make the right vote based on what we believe. And there are times that me and Mr. Stallin may disagree, or me and Ms. Chambers or Mr. Rogie may disagree. We may be on the same side, we may be different, but I think it is the Redevelopment Commission's office responsibility to make sure that we are well educated in enough time so we can make choices that spending the dollars of the residents of this city will be done in an adequate fashion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Very good. I think we were in the midst of voting to adjourn.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's-
So yeah, I want to share a quick.
Whoop.
Okay. All right. No, I definitely appreciate Commissioner Washington's comments. So I definitely want to clarify, for the public, and I want to have Attorney Jenkins have the opportunity to comment on this too, about the statutory law about the executive function of the Redevelopment Commission and Department of Redevelopment. I know that we've had a conversation about how we could get our commission more engaged in our efforts and what staff makes in decisions in our commission, and what we put before the commission, business in alignment with the mayor's vision, understanding that we agree to increase the quantity of meetings that we have from once a month to twice a month for two reasons. First reason being was that we wanted to have the public have the opportunity to get to touch and discuss with developers and understanding what's happening in the community. We had an opportunity, with Taco Bell, or the developer for Taco Bell, to be able to share with the community what the intentions are. There are going to be some instances where we may not have the ability to conduct business where we're making a decision once a month. There might be items that by staff, by review of the administration, of myself, the powers given to me in the Redevelopment Commission authority with the state, that staff expertise belongs to the director. But having an opportunity to work in collaboration with the council, we've opened the opportunity to have meetings twice a month and figuring out ways how we can, if the time isn't needed, in the essence of time isn't needed in effort to get things passed within 1 week or within bi-weekly, that we have the opportunity to do that monthly. To have that touch and have that ability for the commissioners to have questions and ask questions. So understand that this is an opportunity that we're collaborating and working together, but understanding statutorily that's not required. But in good faith, we will have opportunities to be able to have more interface with the future developers, have an ability to be able to ask questions, and give us a month to be able to make a decision. But there are times when time is of the essence and we have to move at the speed of business, and what we have the ability and the power to by state statute. When it comes to the bylaws, understand that, when I walked into this role October 13th, 2023, there was a lot of work to do that needed to be straightened out. And I think everyone is aware of what I've inherited, what staff changes I've made to this department, an effort for us to be able to have credibility with developers and be able to move, to have discussions with entities that, we're investigating situations that happened in the past, right? I have, for the public's sake, and I don't want to make an excuse, but it is a reality of kind of the sentiments that Councilman Washington is concerned about. I have had staff challenges, right? That we're now rebuilding our department, and we're getting back into the order of being able to answer those questions, for the commission, financially about where we are. And I think that's really the basis of that concern or that comment. But understand that there was a lot of web to unravel to get us to this point of where we are now, an effort to welcome development moving forward. And again, that there are going to be some instances that just based on the timing of an effort to move projects along, that we may be in an uncomfortable space, but we do share that information in a timely fashion with our commissioners, no different than the process that I've inherited in the past of when we share items on the agenda for our commission. Now, is everything perfect? No, there might be some resolutions based on what needs to be done in effort to move efforts along, like extending our contract for Republic Services. You know, initially, I don't think that was initially in the board packet, but it was an administrative item that I realized needed to be done in a timely fashion. No board is ever going to be perfect in having all the agenda items completely straightened out in a timely fashion. So just want to make that clear that this happens amongst all boards. Can we improve? Yes. But I just wanted to make that clear, you know, to the public that the effort and the good faith is that we do have a good relationship, you know, with the council and all our commissioners. I don't take anything personal regarding any vote because I understand that we were all wanting to make the best decision for the city moving forward. But understand that there were a lot of challenges to get us to this point, and that they're being resolved now. So I just wanted to share that with the public. So thank you.
Okay, so,
Mr. Chairman,
Mark,
let me just say this, and I want to be very clear on this, and I can understand everything that Mr. Harris has said. All I'm asking is to ensure that your commissioners are well abreast of anything that's going on that you may need our vote on. I don't want to hear excuses. You've been in this position for over a year. You can talk to the mayor about it. But when it comes to us voting on very important legislation on moving this community forward, we need more time than an hour before the executive session. Keep your redevelopment commissioners informed so we can make the best choice for the residents of this community. Everything you have said, in my opinion, that's an excuse. Just get it done.
So I think that when it comes to questions and if the commissioner is going to rudely leave the meeting, that shows the professionalism that we're dealing with and why the city hasn't been moving in a way that it hadn't. So for decades. So I'm going to end my comments with that because that was unprofessional. So, but that's public. So again, I'm going to end my comments. Appreciate the commission, and we will move forward and have our next commission meeting August 21st, 2024, here in the council chambers. Thank you.
Mark Anthony, do you have the enough votes to call the adjournment?
Yeah, I think we want to resume wherever we voted from. I believe Commissioner Washington did say yes to that vote before he left. But I know we're very out of order, but I'd just like us to finish the vote if we can. Whoever did not vote on the motion that was on the table, if we can kind of go back there.
Okay, well, I'm voting yes too. So I'm going to hit this gavel right here on this piece of wood.
Motion's carried.